Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapatam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadanti Swam Vedantikam Mandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Shijivam Sadvaitam Sadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishavitam Visham Hey Krishna Karana Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagagpate Gopisha Gopikanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchan Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhana Sudadevi Pranamani Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Trubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Bhavadevyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Go Bhakta Vrinda Namastresta manamapi sachi puchamacha surupam Rupam dashagrajam Uparamatoram gostavatam Radha kundam girivaram Radhika madhavayasyam Prapto yasha pratita kripaya Shri Guru Tendatosmi Gaurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktatan Bhaktaya Namo Namaha Bande Guramisha Bhaktam Isha Vatarakam Tad Prakasham Tat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Samgyakyam Chaitanya Charanam Bhoja Mukundalayo Bhaje Yesham Parashadam Atrena Paramape Bhavat Pangam Lagayate Selam Mukamavata Akshutan Takripatam Bande Krishna Chaitanya Ishram Durgami Patiman Dashis Kala Padagatema Sakripiyasti Danena Shantu Shantapalambanam Shri Rup Shri Sanatana Bhatu Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhata Dasa Raghunath H.I. Guru Karanchana Vandanana Yahoite Vigna Savistapam Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So I'm going to read a verse, nice verse, from Srila Krishna's Kaviraj's Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is in Bengali. Everyone repeat. Brahmanda, Brahmati, Koina, Bhagyavan Jiva, Guru Krishna Prasad, Bhai Laktya Beach, Brahmanda Brahmati, Koina, Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasad, Bhai Bhakti Latta Beach, Bhai Bhakti Latta Beach. Translation: according to that karma, all living entities are wandering throughout the entire universe. Some of them are being elevated to the upper planetary systems, and some are going to the lower planetary systems. And out of many millions of wandering living entities, one who is very fortunate gets an opportunity to associate with a bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. And by the mercy of both Krishna and the spiritual master, such a person receives the seed of the creeper of devotional service. Bhakti Lata Bij. Bhakti Lata means creeper. Bhakti Lata Bij. Bij means seed. So, according to their karma, the living entities are wandering throughout the universe, and the word is Brahmanda. Brahmanda means universe. We shouldn't think that just Stanger is all there is to this creation. The sugarcane fields, and maybe as far as Belito Bay or something, and then that's it. Now this is one very small part of the creation. Brahmanda means universe, and there are unlimited universes. Each universe is like a grain of sand. Now we're living in one of those universes, so we shouldn't think that we're some special big deal or something living here in Stanger. Unlimited universes. One time, Lord Brahma, he went to go and see Lord Narayan. So he went to the Vaikuntha. Lord Brahma, of course, is a demigod. And Prabhupada writes, his relationship with Krishna is that he's a servant of Krishna. He's in Dasya Ras. Dasya Sambrami Priti. He's a servant of Krishna. All the demigods are the servants of Krishna. Dasya Asricha Adikra Prashad Anuga. And he is Adikra. He's an empowered servant. So Brahma, he's got 4 heads in this universe. Because this universe, the circumference, diameter, is 4 billion miles. So this particular Brahma has 4 heads. So Brahma, he went to the gates of Vaikuntha. He knocked on the door. Not quite like that, but almost like that. Just like we go door to door in Stanger. We knock on people's doors and we sell them BTGs and stuff like that. So there were gatekeepers in Vaikuntha. And the gatekeepers, they asked Lord Brahma, so what is it you want? And Brahma said, well, I've come to see Narayan. I've come to see Narayan. Vaikuntha is Narayan, not Krishna. Krishna is Vrindavan. You go to Vrindavan, you see Krishna. But Vaikuntha is Lord Narayan. So he said, I've come to see Lord Narayan. So the gatekeepers, they went off and they told Lord Narayan, excuse me, my lord, but Brahma is here to see you. So then Lord Narayan replied, which Brahma? Which Brahma? Go back and find out which Brahma. So the gatekeepers trottled off and they went back and they said, I'm sorry to ask you this, but which Brahma are you? And immediately Lord Brahma became a little taken back because he thought he was the only one. He thought, I'm the only Brahma. So he said, well, actually it's Chatumukha, 4-headed. Mukha means head, face. Mukut, helmet. Chato, Ekdotin. Chato. 4-headed. So, but Lord Brahma was thinking, why he asked which Brahma? Doesn't he know it's me, big time Brahma? So eventually Lord Narayan let him in. And Lord Narayan said, my dear Brahma, what can I do for you? You want some benediction? You want some blessing? Is everything going right in the creation? In your universe? What is it you want? And Brahma said, well, I came for a specific reason, but before I ask you that, I'm first going to ask you another question. You sent message, which Brahma? Am I to conclude there's more than one? Am I to conclude there is more than one Brahma? I think it's in this very verse. I think it's in this very chapter. Let me just see if it is. But it may not be. No, I don't think it is. It's chapter 19, Madhya Lila. And then chapter 20, Madhya Lila. So, Krishna, he decided that he said to Brahma, just sit here, and I'm going to call all the other Brahmas. Not only the other Brahmas, but I'll call other Shivas, and I'll also call other Indras. And they can all come. So by Krishna's mystic power, other Brahmas came. And some Brahmas had 40 heads. Some had 400 heads. Some had 4,000 heads. Some had 4 million heads. And they all came, and not only Brahmas came, but also Shivas. Like Shiva in this universe has 5 heads. It's got 5 heads, punch. And then Indras came. The Indras have eyes all over their bodies. So all these Indras came. And by Krishna's Yogamaya potency, every Brahma that came, every Indra that came, every Shiva that came couldn't see the other ones. And they thought, oh, I've just come alone. And they thought, the Lord has just called for me. How fortunate I am. But by Krishna's mystic power, 4-headed Brahma could see everything. And he saw all these other Brahmas, and all these other Shivas, and all these other Indras. And he was amazed. And he felt like a mosquito amongst elephants. He felt very small time. So, this pastime shows that in every universe there's a Brahma, Shiva, there's an Indra, there's an Agni, there's a Varuna. Who else is there? There's a Kali, Durga. Who else? Saraswati. All the scholars are praying to Saraswati now, isn't it? Because it's time to pass the exams. So they whip out a 3-dimensional picture of Saraswati and quickly do a little incense puja before the exams. Just to say, just in case. Saraswati can benedict them. And Agni, and Varuna, and Vayu, and Yamaraj, and the Aswini Kumars, and Mitra, Chandragupta, so many demigods you've never heard of. So all these demigods exist in different planets. So this particular universe we live in is the smallest. And in this universe there are so many planets, and we're living on one of those planets called the Earth planet. The Earth planet is neither high nor low. It's in the middle. And on this Earth planet there are so many countries, perhaps 200. And one of those countries is South Africa, which is not high up on the list, I'll tell you that also. According to United Nations Human Index factor, it's quite low down. Yeah. So here we are in South Africa, and in South Africa we're in one edge of South Africa, called Durban, on the north coast in Stanger. And we're in one area of Stanger. And in this area of Stanger, there are so many different living entities. Most of them end up taking birth as sugarcane. Am I correct? So what is sugarcane? Sugarcane is ekpada. Pada means foot. They've got 1 foot, 1 leg, 1-legged living entities. And then you have 2-legged living entities. Who are the 2-legged living entities? All of you, human beings. 2 legs. Then you have 3-legged, tripada. Tripada, tree, 3. 3-legged living entities. Who are the 3-legged living entities? Think. Who do you see who has 3 legs? It's all of you when you get old. and you get a walking stick. Isn't it? You got to get a walking stick. So when you get older, you need a walking stick, and then you've got 3 legs. And then chatupad, like a dog, cow. And then 5-legged. I'm not sure about 5-legged. But you get 6-legged, spider, mosquito. And then you get bahupada, many-legged. What's bahupada? Many-legged, centipede. Fish have got many legs, tentacles. So, somehow or other we've taken birth in the human form of life. Now what's special about the human form of life? What do we have? Every species of life is empowered with some special Shakti. Like a fish is able to swim. If a big wave comes, if like a tidal wave comes, a big tidal wave comes, the fish can swim against the tidal wave, but a big elephant can't. Fish has the ability to swim in water. It's got a special Shakti. A bird, what special Shakti does a bird have? It's born, it lives in the nest, and then immediately it starts flying. It doesn't even need flying lessons. It doesn't go to La Mercy Airport and book in for flying lessons. It doesn't have a parachute. It just immediately flies. It's so natural for a bird to fly. For us, can we fly? Is it natural for us to fly? No, we have to make a very complicated arrangement, and we have to manufacture these big aircraft, 747s, which make a lot of noise, which pollute the atmosphere, and which occasionally crash. Then we have to sit in these crummy tin aircraft, and you get these horrible seats, and you're squashed for so many hours. Not very nice. So birds have the ability. What special ability does a monkey have? It's able to jump around trees. And it's quite amazing how these monkeys they're so agile. A bat works by radar. Did you know that? A bat doesn't have eyes. It works by radar. A bat also passes stool through its mouth. Quite interesting, a bat. Dog. What's a dog do? It can sniff, can smell better than you. It can smell better than human beings. Horse has the ability to run. It likes to run and run and run. Chameleon has the ability to change colors. So you see that every species of life has a certain ability, has a certain potency. You can call it vibhuti. Vibhuti means like Shakti. Every species of life has a certain Shakti. So what special Shakti does the human being have? What special gift does the human species have? Intelligence. Like a monkey is intelligent, but is not able to create a little house for itself. But we create houses like this, bricks. And then when it's too hot, we have a fan. And then when it's too cold, we have a heater. So we're using our intelligence. So human beings have developed intelligence. This is a special gift we have. And we have to use our intelligence. Not to increase our eating and sleeping and mating and defending. But we have to use our intelligence for what? Self-realization. One has to understand, what am I doing here? What is the purpose in life? What happens when I leave this body? We don't just live our life like a dodo or something. There are some people who they get up in the morning, they go to sleep at night, and they live their life from day to day. And they don't ponder on higher thoughts. They don't question their existence. But the human form of life is a gift where we can question our existence. So we should question our existence. You'll find that a couple hundred years ago, human beings were exploring the Earth planet. Van Riebeck, he got in his boat and he went to Cape Town and discovered Vasco da Gama. He's discovering Isaac Newton, he's discovering. So Isaac Newton is discovering. So scientists, explorers, they try to discover different things. They're inquisitive. So we should be inquisitive into our existence. What we're doing here. Is life just meant to light fireworks and scare the Hare Krishna Swami? Is that all life is meant for? Is life just meant to watch TV? People, average human being watches TV so many hours a day. Is life just meant for reproducing and having children? Is that life's mission? The atheists, they'll say life is simply meant to procreate, to reproduce, and to keep up our species. But we understand from the Vedas that we're wandering around from different species of life. How many species of life are there? 8,400,000, 84 lakhs. So we're wandering around in different species of life. Some or other we come in contact. By the mercy of Krishna, some are going up and some are going down. The species of life, like a merry-go-round. You've seen a merry-go-round? Sometimes you go up and sometimes you go down. Out of many millions of living entities are wandering, or going up and or going down. Some get to associate with a bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. So it's by the grace of Krishna, because Guru is inside and Guru is outside. Guru inside is Chaitaguru, the Lord in the heart. He's the Guru inside, and he's directing your wanderings. This is Chaitaguru, the Lord in the heart. And then there's Guru outside. Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru, there's Guru outside who also directs you. And then there's scriptures also who tell you what to do, what not to do. So by the mercy of both Krishna and the spiritual master, such a person receives the seed. So you can see by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, he is Guru, he went to America, he started preaching. He came out of South Africa, he started preaching. So, by his mercy and by the mercy of Krishna, because everything is by the arrangement of Krishna. All of you now have Bhakti Ladder Beach. You've got the seed of the creeper of devotion. How do you nourish that seed? How do you water that seed? Who can tell me? Chanting Krishna's name every day. That's one way you nourish the seed. Another, read scripture. Take prasad. Associate with devotees. These are the recommended methods of watering that seed. Again, chanting Krishna's name. Everyone should chant every day. 4 rounds, 5 rounds, 6 rounds, 8 rounds, if you can 16 rounds. Every day you chant. Reading Prabhupada's books, Bhagavad Gita, reading these books. These books are just not meant for selling, they're meant for reading. Is he telling them off? Number 3, taking prasad. You should eat only prasad. And number 4, associate, sadhu sangha. Sadhu sangha means you associate with devotees. So this is very important. So you have to develop this. Because naturally we associate. We naturally associate. Human beings are gregarious, they're social animals. We live in towns and villages. Generally, you don't find a human being who lives by himself or herself. We associate with others. So associate with devotees. And this is how you water the seed. So this is very important. So this month of Damodar, month of Kartik is also nice. I noticed you already offered your lamps. This is very good. Anyone who offers a lamp during the month of Kartik is blessed. Chanting Krishna's name is more powerful than offering a lamp. But offering a lamp is also very nice, especially in the month of Kartik. The devotion that you perform in the month of Kartik is multiplied 1,000 times, according to Rupa Goswami. So this is very nice to see you offering your lamp, chanting. So question, how does one become really serious about Krishna consciousness? I read, chant, render some service whenever I get the opportunity, but I've realized nothing as yet. You're not going to realize Krishna in a weekend or in 1 month. Rome was not built in 1 day. It takes time, because our heart is very contaminated and very dirty. It takes a while for the heart to be purified. So the recommended method of cleansing the heart is associating with devotees, chanting. So how does one become really serious? You become really serious about chanting, really serious about reading scripture, and really serious about associating with devotees. You make an effort to associate. So it's like this year I went up to Russia. So I went early. I went 2 weeks early simply to associate with a devotee, God brothers. It's so valuable that I'm prepared to spend extra money and go early just to associate. And this is in India, that 10 times louder. I've been trained up in India. So in India they're a lot louder. I think the bomb squad would come around if you heard the ones in India. They put them in cans and make them even louder, in dustbins. So, I'm going to India, to Vrindavan, Govardhan Hill. I'm going early. I changed my plans. I was going to go December the 1st. Now I'm going earlier. Simply to associate. So you make an effort to associate. There was one person, he was a Bhakta. His name was Bhakta Greg. And he was at UCT, Cape Town University, 1973, Sorry, he was at Rhodes University in Grahamstown. And the only temple we had in those days was in Cape Town. So on Friday evening he used to thumb a lift. Didn't have a car. He would thumb a lift all the way from Grahamstown to Cape Town. Now how far is that? It's the same as Durban, Johannesburg. Maybe even further. And he'd stay in the temple Saturday, and then he'd have the Sunday feast. He'd make sure he had the Sunday feast. And then he'd thumb a lift back to university. And that's how serious you have to be about the association of devotees. You have to really want it. And don't take it for granted. With what mood should one approach the study of Srila Prabhupada's books? Is it wrong to approach Prabhupada's books from an academic point of view? Prabhupada wanted us to scrutinizingly study. So that means make a careful study. So you do it from an academic point of view. Yes, study carefully. Like when I study, I'll do it in a chronological way. I won't pick up any book and read it at random. I read, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. I take notes. I do it in a systematic way. So we read Prabhupada's books in an academic way. It would mean in a systematic way. In a systematic way. But we don't read Prabhupada's books like like the academia scholars do at university, because they don't even believe in God. And they're just trying to, like at UDW or Natal University, or you get science of religion, and you get people that teach Hinduism and the Vedas, or Sanskrit scholars. They may not even believe in God. You get scholars in America, scholars of religion, who eat meat and drink wine. They're not religious at all. It's their job and they get paid. So that's useless. That's completely useless. We are not these bodies, but why is it so hard to actually realize this? Because we've been identifying with this body for many lifetimes. If you've been doing something for a long time, to give it up quickly is difficult, isn't it? Sometimes someone has been smoking every day for 30 or 40 years. To give it up immediately is difficult. There was one man, he's initiated now, but for 30 years he smoked 60 cigarettes a day and drank half a bottle of brandy every day. For 30 years. Took him 5 weeks to give it up. It's not bad, 5 weeks, considering 30 years. So we've been identifying with this body for so many lifetimes. So in this one lifetime, we're trying not to identify with the body. So it takes a while. But if we try, Krishna will help us. Tatami buddhi yogam tam, Krishna will help us. What form of devotional service should householders engage in? Householders are essentially materialistic people who need materialistic wealth for their families. What form of devotional service should householders engage in? Exactly the same type of devotional service as a sannyasi, or a brahmachari, or a vanaprastha should engage in. There's no difference. The type of devotional service that a grihastra, or a sannyasi, or a brahmachari, or a brahmacharini, or vanaprastha engage in is exactly the same. Shravanam, kirtanam, smaranam. Hearing, chanting, remembering, worshipping the deity. Worshipping the deity is especially recommended for grihastras, because they have a house. And you make that house like a temple, so you have the deity. If you're a sannyasi and you're traveling around everywhere, 1 week in Stanger, 1 week in Durban, 1 week in Nairobi, 1 week in whatever, then it's difficult taking deity around. So deity worship is especially recommended for grihastras. That's the only thing. Apart from that, everything is the same. Everything is exactly the same. It's not like you're a householder. You have a special type of worship different to a sannyasi. Not at all. You read Srimad Bhagavatam as a householder. You take prasad as a householder. You chant Hare Krishna as a householder. No difference. And you acquire money for your own spiritual life and for the spiritual life of your wife, husband and children. And excess money, you use it in God's service. Go to India, go on pilgrimage, give money for the temple, give money for Food for Life, give money to help preach, build the Phoenix Temple, build the Durban Temple, sponsor magazines, do Food for Life in Stanger. It's as simple as that. If you have excess money, use it to spread Krishna consciousness. So householders don't have anything special, which is sort of like different. The only emphasis is deity worship. It's good for householders because it makes their house like an ashram. So you have a deity of Prabhupada, or you have a deity of Gaurnitai, or you have a picture, you have the altar. And even the picture is like a deity. It is difficult to become a devotee. But when you do attain this, why is it so difficult to remain a devotee? Maya is very powerful. Can you imagine a man? He's an attractive man and he has a wife. And the wife is called Maya Devi. And this wife handpecks him like anything. Typical Indian scenario. She handpecks him all the time and makes his life miserable. And he has to work, not 8 hours a day, but 12 hours a day in Monty's factory, just to supply his wife, who's Maya Devi, enough money for her to buy her saris and jewelry. So then, what does he do? He says, look, Mrs. Wife, I'm going to divorce you. I'm fed up of working so hard and you never even thank me. You just criticize me like anything. So I'm going to divorce you. So the wife will laugh. You don't have the guts. You don't have the guts. So the man, he goes off to see his lawyer. There's plenty of lawyers here in Stanger. So he goes to his lawyer. He's cheap and the best lawyer. Always the best. Best, cheap and best. And he says, all right, I'm really going to lawyer. Then the lawyer's papers, they go to her. And she realizes, yikes, he's serious. He's going to divorce me. The wife is all fat and ugly, and she wears curlers, those curlers, and she's like a fridge, straight down. So the wife says, oh, he's going to divorce me. Oh, I better be nice to him. So she starts slimming. It takes a lot of effort though. She gives up beans curry and she starts slimming down, and she starts looking really nice and combing her hair. She never used to. Now she combs her hair, and she starts wearing nice clothes. And when the husband comes back, she says, "Oh, lovey, how are you?" And she's all sweet, and she wears lipstick, and she's smiling at him. Right? And she doesn't henpeck him. She's trying to win him back. Maya is trying to win back the husband. Isn't it? This is an example. It's a very nice example. But Maya is trying to win back the husband. And Maya is trying her hardest. And suddenly the wife behaves herself, and she looks so nice, and she's so polite, and she doesn't swear the husband or anything. All of a sudden she's changed. But the man, he's determined. No. And the man even starts having a relationship with another woman called Yoga Maya. Yoga Maya is devotional service. Starts having a relationship with Yoga Maya. But Mahamaya tries her hardest to get him back. But he has to be very determined. And then finally he gets divorced. But even after he's divorced, she still tries. Isn't it? You know how these ladies are. She still tries. Even though he may be married to another woman, Yoga Maya. So as devotees, we are illusioned by Mahamaya. Both male and female. We're attracted towards Maya. And Maya is kicking us. Kicking us. And then we decide, all right, I'm going to become a devotee. And we start chanting Hare Krishna, following the principles. And we develop a relationship with Yoga Maya. Yoga Maya, Srimati Radharani, Krishna. So Maya starts to look more attractive. So Maya starts to try to win us back. And suddenly, Maya tries her hardest to win us back. So that's why when you become a devotee, initially it may be easy. It's a novelty. But the novelty wears off. And then Maya starts testing you. And she starts getting stronger and stronger. Just to see how serious are you. And you have to be very serious. And even when you've divorced Maya, even when you're initiated, even when you're, practicing for many years, 10 years and 20 years and 30 years, Maya still tries. She never gives up. She still tries to attract you. So this example is there. But if you sincerely take shelter of Krishna, Krishna will give you the strength and he'll give you the intelligence. But these tests will be there. They'll always be there, these tests. Sometimes opposite sex, sometimes eating too much, sometimes excessive attachment to family, sometimes our own health, sometimes we get depressed and bewildered. All these things, Maya comes and tests. So these tests are always there. And don't think just because you're initiated, just because you're Brahmin initiated or you've been around for 20 years, you don't get the tests. No way. The tests simply get more subtle. Vishvamrita Muni, he was a great Muni, and he was engaging in mystic yoga, controlling his breathing. Breathing in 4, holding 8, breathing out 16. In one nostril, out the other nostril. Pranayam, breathing. His eyes were closed for many thousands of years. Or Subari Muni. Subari Muni was meditating at the bottom of the river Jamuna. For many, many years, he was living in the bottom of the river Jamuna. He was able to control his breathing. So he was living underwater. And even his body became full of scales. Became like a fish. Like a sardine. His whole body became very slippery, something fishy. And his eyes were closed, and he was meditating. And one day he opened his eyes and he saw 2 fish having sex. And his mind became agitated. And he couldn't concentrate, and he thought, no, I have to get married. And he came up from the river Jamuna. And he had long beard and all scales. And he smelled like a fish walking around, like a fish walking around. And he went to the king. The king was living in Mathura. And he said to the king, I want to get married. And the king had 50 very beautiful daughters. But the yogi was so ugly, he couldn't ask any of his beautiful daughters to marry this fish-looking person. So he was very smart. The king said, well, he didn't want to make the yogi angry. He said, I don't have a problem with that. Whichever one of my daughters wants to marry you, can marry you. He didn't say, you must marry him. He said, whichever one wants to marry him. None of them wanted to marry him. Why? Because he was something fishy. He was very scaly. So what did he do? He had mystic powers. And he changed himself into Hrithik Roshan. Is that right? Or is it around the other way? Roshan, Hrithik. Hrithik. I don't know, you know these things. Hrithik Roshan. Like really Bollywood style, with nice earring here, And every one of the daughters wanted to marry him. All 50, there was a stampede. So he married all of them. But that Subari Muni, he just saw the fish engaging in sex. And that was enough. And Vishvamrita Muni, he was a great yogi. He was following mystic yoga. And he was meditating, and King Indra sent one Apsara called Menika. Very beautiful lady. Apsara. These are like heavenly prostitutes. On the higher planets, that type of stuff goes on. And they don't get reaction, and they don't get AIDS and all this stuff either. It's all like on the heavenly planets. So this Menika came, and she was walking with her ankle bells. Ching, 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 ching. And he heard it in his ears, because his eyes were closed, so he wasn't going to open his eyes. So he just heard this ching, 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 and that was enough. And he opened his eyes and he saw Menika. And then he had a relationship with her. So Maya is very strong. So we always have to take shelter of the holy name. But Haridas Thakur, he was chanting Hare Krishna, and Maya personified appeared before him as a beautiful woman and tried to trick him. Did she succeed? No. Maya personified in the end became the disciple of Haridasaka. So if you take shelter of the holy name, you can get protection. But you have to really take shelter of the holy name, not just casual. We're not talking about casual devotion. We're talking about deep devotion. So one has to chant very, very seriously. Krishna is near and yet very far away. He's within and he's without. So that's a statement, and we agree. Krishna is the nearest person to you, because he's a person and he's in your heart. He's nearer than your wife or husband or children. And in your last life, that same Krishna was with you, but in your last life you had a different husband and different wife and different children. So he's the nearest, and yet for materialist, he's the furthest away. It's only the devotee that can capture Krishna. If it is the primary reason for the human form of life to have God realization, why do majority of human beings not take to God consciousness? Should they rather not take birth as animals? Well, the Bhagavad Gita says, Manusyanam sahasrasyu. Out of many thousands, one may be interested in spiritual life. So Bhagavad Gita has already told us not many people will be interested in spiritual life. Like Stanger, 30,000, 40,000, but we're getting 30 or 40 devotees. So what is that? 30 devotees out of 30,000. 30, 300, 3,000, 30,000, 1 in 1,000. It's exactly what Bhagavad Gita says. 1 in 1,000. 1 in 1,000 are interested in spiritual life. If you're going to sell diamonds, big diamonds, on High Street or outside ShopRite, Checkers Center, how many customers will you get? You won't get any customers. But if you're going to sell colored glass, each diamond is 10 million rands. No one's going to come and buy. But if you're buying colored glass for 10 cents each, how many people will buy? You'll get more customers. So, if in the human form of life we do not we do not try to become God conscious, then we lose the human form of life and we take birth as animal. So these human beings will take birth as animals or pieces of sugar cane. Why not? You can take birth as a piece of sugar cane. You can live in one field. Everyone's so keen on sugar cane in Stanger. Take birth as a piece of sugar cane. It's also a living entity. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, question. Any other questions you'd like to ask? No? So tomorrow's Diwali. I hope you've all got your fireworks. Gonna let them off. No one has any questions? And on Sunday is Govardhan Puja. So we're having a festival. We're building a hill of suji, sweets. And this festival is going to take place in 2 places. It'll take place in the Durban Temple at 10 o'clock till 2, 4 hours. And then it'll take place in the Phoenix Temple from 4 o'clock onwards. So Phoenix, of course, is nearer to you, but you can go to either temple, but nice to go. They're going to build the hill. We have Govardhan Shilas. We have some here in South Africa, and they'll come. We'll circumambulate the temple, the help. And Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj, he's in India right now, but he's coming back on Saturday. He'll be there giving a talk, and I'll also be giving a talk. So I'll be at the Phoenix one. So please come. This is what it means to associate with devotees. Any other questions? There's a cake. Someone's birthday? No. Anyone's birthday, by the way? Maybe? No? Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda